Okay, this says find a polynomial of degree 4 with leading coefficient of 72. I'll write this over here, f of x. If there's a leading coefficient of 72, I'll write that down. And then I know there's going to be 4 separate factors. And I'm hoping that they're going to be relatively easy to come up with. And why do I know that? For it to be polynomial, there's going to be 4 roots. It says it has the given 0 with indicated multiplicity. It says there's a root of 2/3. Now, what does that mean? If there's a root of 2/3, it would look like this over here. And I'm going to solve that for 0. So it would give me 3x minus 2 equals 0. So I know there's a factor now that's 3x minus 2, because that would give me the root of 2/3. But they said it occurred twice, so I need to put it down twice. All right? So that one's done. The next one says there's a root of minus 3/2. Let's write that down. What does that mean? X equals minus 3 over 2. Well, I'm going to solve that for 0. We're going to get 2x plus 3 equals 0. And they said that occurs twice. Write that down for you. 2x plus 3 occurs twice. Now, I want to read it carefully. It says, find a polynomial of degree 4 with a leading coefficient of 72 that is the given zeros with indicated multiplicity. There's a problem now. I'll tell you what the problem is. If I were to multiply this out, the leading coefficient would be much larger than 72. All right? Now, how do I know that? Look at it. 72 times 3 times 3 times 2 times 2. It's much larger than 72. So what I want to do is I want to rethink the problem again. I'll write down a little differently. Whoops, sorry about that. This is not right. Let me cross this out. This is not correct. We're going to redo the problem. It's good to think before you look at the k. F of x equals, well, it's still a leading coefficient of 72. Now, instead of solving this for zero like I did, was multiplying both sides by 2, I'm just going to simply say x plus 3/2. And that occurs twice. And there's nothing wrong with writing that down, by the way, because minus 3/2 still gives the root. And the other one's going to be 2/3, where it's going to be x minus 2/3, and it occurred twice. Before I put a box, I want to assure you that if I multiply it out, I'm really kind of concerned if I did get the 2 roots, which is minus 3/2 and 2/3. Do they occur twice? Yeah, I'm looking at it does. And is the leading coefficient 72? It is, because when you multiply the x together, you can get 72x to the 4th power. So this is my answer. Now, I realize some students, they want to multiply it out. You can, but they didn't ask you to do that. You can write this as an answer and call it a day. So what I want to do is I want to look at it, and they wrote something down a little differently, didn't they? I want to point out, it's really the same answer, by the way. And someone says, how'd you do that? Let me go through that with you, all right? So remember the original answer I wrote down was f of x was 72, 3x minus 2, 3x minus 2, 2x plus 3, 2x plus 3. Well, let me point out, and again, your mileage may vary, but I'm going to point out, I got to get rid of the coefficients on the x terms. How would you do that? You'd have to divide this thing by 3. You'd have to divide this thing by 3, divide this by 2, and divide this by 2. Well, that's the same thing as saying f of x, 72. Well, let's do the bottom. 3 times 3 is 9, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 9 is 36, times 3x minus 2. That occurs twice. 2x plus 3 occurs twice as well, by the way. What's 72 divided by 36? It's 2, and that would be 3x minus 2 squared, 3x plus 3 squared. This is also fine, by the way. I don't think they said expanded. I do see it being expanded, by the way, but don't feel obligated to do so. But this is also a good answer over here. It still has a leading coefficient of 72, and that answer is written over here. Here's the deal, though. You can take both of those polynomials. They're both the same, by the way. In other words, the one I wrote down initially is the same thing as the one I just wrote down. If you multiply them out, though, you're still going to get this. It's still going to result in what you wanted to, which is going to be that it's going to be 72 x4 plus 120x cubed minus 94x squared minus 120x plus 72. All is working as advertised, by the way. Thank you.